Hi guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, which means it's time for a YouTube video. So let me go ahead and double check that we're, I don't know, doing something over here. I don't see anything happening, so let me see if I need to refresh my screen. The computers have been weird today. It's been like solar flares or something. There, it looks like we're on, so that's a good thing. Let me get all set up here. Hi Karen, hi Lenny. Appreciate you joining today. Hi Pam. Karen, welcome back. Glad you made it home safely from North Kakalaki. It's pretty up there, eh? Hi Faith, appreciate you joining. 104, you are welcome to that, my friend. But I'm gonna say I went out this morning at about 8:45 to feed, and it was like very warm already, like unpleasantly so, to the point that Finn just sat in front of the fan while I cleaned and then was real ready to come right back into the air conditioning. So, it's hot if he doesn't want to lay under the golf cart. Hi, Karen. Appreciate you joining. Yeah, soupy. That's a very good way to describe it, Karen. All right, so I'm going to just fess up right now for, expectation management and all of that. Me and my ducks are not exactly in a solid row today. So there is no telling what will happen. Yesterday was hectic, and I think I might have had a little too much coffee, second day in a row. And so I think I went to bed about midnight and got up at 5, which is not enough sleep for yours truly. So I've been drinking more coffee today to counteract the fact that I'm sleepy. So I may be wired for sound, and there is no telling what will happen on this video. So just there you go. Okay, so now you know. I have a friend. Yeah, Karen, that is not my normal night's sleep. I don't know what the deal is. This is 2 nights in a row. I've just been, so yesterday I thought, well, we're having a new catalog, so it's going to be a hectic day. I really wanted to be in the house right when it went live. So when I got up at 5 yesterday morning, I had a headache, and I used that and the excuse of needing to be in the house to not get on the treadmill, which at the time seemed like a good idea, but as the day went on, it wasn't a good idea. That treadmill, as much as I hate getting on it, sets me up for the day. So the day was hectic anyway, and I was wound up. I got on the treadmill at 9:30 because I needed to close my rings on my phone. I mean, it was wild. Karen, I usually drink a cup of decaf to go to sleep, but my Cafe Verona iced coffee that I was still sipping on at 7 o'clock was not my best plan. So, anywho, all right, we are going to, yeah, well, if you are ready for that, then you're ready for some fun, because my ducks are scattered all over the 30 acres. Hi, Hannah, I appreciate you joining. Thank you, Lenny, you're sweet. Hey, Daryl. Lenny, I think you're just biased. I'm not sure. Okay, so anyway, I was out and about playing around. Do you guys know what the most expensive bundle in the new catalog is? By any chance? Do you know what this bundle is? Okay, it is the Blossoms in Bloom bundle, and it is bundled with the gorgeous many layered Blossoms die set, which is a most wondermous die set, just so you know. And the only reason I bring this up is because if you are not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator already, this is a very excellent time to join, because in addition to your $125 that you get to choose, I'm going to quit doing this, that you get to choose for your $99 for your $99 entry fee, as it were, you also get to pick a free bundle in addition to your starter kit. And that's any bundle in the catalog, including this one, the most expensive one there is, right? I mean, just throwing it out there. So if you have ever thought of joining, this is the very, very best time. So I was out looking around, and I found a very pretty card that looks sort of like this and uses a technique that I hadn't tried before. It's stamp spritzing. And so I tried that today, and that is what sort of we're going to end up doing. But you can see This uses the stamped image from Blossoms in Bloom, and then it uses the outline image in brass foil, which is a new foil that we have going today. And I made it into a happy birthday card because I always need them. And I have a friend who is actually needing a stack of birthday cards, and so I thought this would be a great opportunity to get them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It also uses the Ornate Frames die set. I've used this die right here for my, see, look, that's how you lose dies. Did you see that? Did you see that little guy trying to hide right there? I would have never found him again. Oh, speaking of which, it's true. I almost threw away 2 of the stamps in this set today, cleaning up, and one should never clean up. I think that's the lesson here. Never clean your desk because you're likely to throw stuff away that you didn't mean to throw away. Yeah, I realize it's, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm wired, can you tell? Half a cup of iced coffee in, and I'm wired for sounds. I'll just apologize. If I get giggly, you'll understand. If I speak at 6,000 miles an hour, which I can hear myself doing, yes. Anyway, all right, so here we go. So I had to break out my dog's pool. Oh yeah. It would be, yes, I have to keep, do I have a dimensional in my left hand? Oh no, it's a little Chad of foil. Yeah. Oh my. We're going good already. Okay, so let's go ahead and start because it is a little more involved than my normal cards. I can't get this off my finger. Okay. All right. Also, this uses the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder, which is part of the In Good Taste suite. I love this folder. Can you see that pretty texture that it put on there? It makes it look like kind of oldish paper, especially when you sponge it a little bit, which I did. And of course, my very favorite thing ever, these antique corners. Okay, all right. So let me show you just a couple of things. These were a couple of my tries ahead of time, and we'll talk about them a little. At first, I thought I was going to do this on crumb cake, and this is how it looked when I stamped my Seaside Spray. And I decided it looked more dirty than vintage, so I tossed that. And then I tried the spritzing technique, and I'm going to talk about this just a little bit more. I didn't like this. I think it could be okay. It just didn't suit what was in my head. So I'm not getting rid of this. I'm going to just hang on to it. I am already giggly. I know. Hey, Debbie. Thank you, Pam. Hey, Jerry. So I'm going to hang on to this anyway because this was actually... I inked the stamp in Seaside Spray, and then I daubed it with my sponge dauber with Misty Moonlight around the middle, which was all good, but when I spritzed it, it turned into yellow-green. So it's interesting when you spritz, you can see the colors that go into making up the inks, the chemical color composition, if you will. And like I said, I think this would be okay for a future card, but it didn't suit what was in my head, so I started over. All right, so all of this will be on my blog tomorrow. We've got some card cuts ready to go, and I have a piece of the new brass foil. On the back of it, you can see right here, I have already adhered a piece of adhesive sheet. Now, this is not the new kind. The new one comes in pre-cut pieces, which is very handy. But this one I just cut down from one of the old large sizes. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is we're going to bring Mr. Big Shot over, and we're going to cut out, yes, you get to watch me do it. We're going to cut out the outline die, which appears to have disappeared. No, there it is. Okay. Alrighty. I really started out, I wanted to do the press and seal paper piecing technique, but I didn't have time to try it out, and I didn't think doing it for the first time for you guys was a really great idea. So I dropped back to this. Okay, we're gonna go back and forth a few times, and I'm just gonna apologize ahead of time because it is going to shake the heck out of the camera. But it's a little extra thick because of the adhesive sheet, so you do need to give it a few goes. I mean, assuming that you want it to come out easily. I mean, you know, it's certainly up to you. Okay. Now that will not be our last time with Mr. Big Shot, but we can put him aside for a moment. All right. Okay. And then we're just going to pry him out. Give that a little help right there. Now, here's a little tip. When you pull, there, isn't that pretty? I mean, it's pretty just like that, right? All right. You saw my reflection? What? Ooh. Here's a little tip. I suggest that when you pull this out and you start punching out little pieces, that you keep some of them because you might want to stick them back in. Can you see here? I've left that solid piece in that leaf, and I think it would look okay to have another one over here. So just hang on to them so that you can have some design options. I will tell you, you don't need to get too wound up about taking these little dudes out, because when you pull the adhesive off of the back of this, it's going to pull those out for you, okay? In fact, I'm just going to leave those on like that and just punch these large ones out. What we're going to do is use this. Part of the reason I'm making an effort to punch all this right now is we're going to use this as kind of a guide, not even kind of, totally as a guide about where to stamp our card front. Okay, so I need these parts open where I'm going to stamp. I could have gone one more roll back and forth, just so you know, on the Big Shot. We'll get all the flowers open, and then we'll get all the leaves open, and then we'll be good to go. It is a very delicate die, but it actually seems to be a little sturdier, especially in the foil. It's really nice in the foil, right? Let me use my tweezers here. You can see you don't want the back to come off, so do take a moment to make sure that the back stays on for right now. But you can get all these little pieces out. Where you're going to be stamping. So you can see we're stamping leaves and we're stamping the large and small flowers. So those you want to have cleared out so that you can use it as your template. Okay. And I didn't do this ahead of time just because sometimes I think you wonder, because you maybe try to do this and you think, gosh, it really didn't look that hard. Oh wait, she didn't show us that. So it's not hard, it's just maybe a little persnickety, but that's okay. Persnickety never hurt anybody. Just frustrates you, right? Alrighty. And I think that'll be enough for right now. Get that gone. Oh, Kathy's at the beach. Man, I'd like to be at the beach. And I don't mean the beach on my pond either. I mean the real beach. The ocean beach. Okay, I'm going to let those come out when I pull the adhesive off. Now I'm just going to set those aside so that I've got them, and just in case I want them, okay? And then I'm going to bring out my Stampopotamus. And I've already got the stamp on there, but I'm going to take it off. I have a piece of very vanilla that I'm going to place right about there. And I just want to remember where it is. Now, just so you know, this card, this die cut, if you cut your card fronts at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, which is my normal card front, it's going to hang over the edge, which is fine, because you can see by the time you get your mat on and then get your 4 1/4 by 11 card base, it's still within the confines of the card, which means it'll still go in an envelope, right? Okay. So what you need to do here is take the time to do your initial lineup to be sure that when it does hang over, it hangs over sort of evenly, or at least not so far that it's going to get off of your card base. Did that make sense? Okay. So now I'm going to put my magnets on, like that. And then I'm going to lay my stamp pretty much in the die. It's not in the die because it won't really fit in the die cut, but it's pretty close. Okay, so really what I'm doing there is making sure that when I stamp this, the die cut will go back over the top and still fit on my card base where I want it to, right? Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, and it's going to pick the die up, the die cut with it, which is fine. We're going to pull this off. But here's a little tip. You can see that some of the little chads came with it because these photopolymer sets are a little sticky, right? And so it sticks to it. And before you ink up, you want to get them off because they will screw up your image. I'm just saying. Yay! Have you tried the position? I have, and I have it, and I do use it. I simply didn't today. Not even sure why, other than that it just didn't. It's a little bit out of my cross check. I tend to pull it out after I've tried to die cut something and it doesn't want to let me have all of the pieces. Okay, and these are a little extra sticky because they've got that adhesive sheet on the back. Okay, there we go. Whew. Okay. All right, let me get rid of that second plate. Now I'm going to put one of this ink pad is just to support my plate. The first thing I'm going to do is ink my stamp with my Seaside Spray ink pad, like that. Here's a question. Do I want to try spritzing it? What's the worst that could happen, right? I mean, seriously. And this looked to me like it wanted to be a little bit less centered. So we're just moving it a little bit to the right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and spritz, and I'm covering that up so that it doesn't get wet. And then I'm going to put my spritzing shield back here. And I'm going to use my Stampin' Spritzer and just a couple little sprays like that. But I haven't mixed the color, so let's see what we get, okay? Like I said, we're going to experiment a little bit today. Okay, and you can see it pulled a little bit of yellow, but I kind of like that. I'm going to let that ride, and I'm just going to wipe off my stamp a little bit. And then I'm going to take my handy Misty Moonlight. You can make a cardstock one and reuse it over and over again. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Definitely do that. You would have it forever and ever and ever. Okay, now I've got my little Misty Moonlight stamping spot from the last paper pumpkin, and I'm using a sponge dauber around the middle of the flowers. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp that. I'm not inking, I'm not spritzing that. I'm just... Oh, good God. Let me see something. See, now I'm going to see whether I can get away with leaving that or if I need to start over. Did you see what I did there? I smudged it. Because I'm a piggy. I'm a piggy wiggy. You know what? I think that may work. I'm going to try it. Let's keep going. Let's risk it, people. It's also going to get sponged, so I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to darken it up with a little more Misty Moonlight. Like that. I did get my order, finally, but it wasn't, I missed the cutoff for it to ship yesterday, but I did get it in, and I just got notice a little while ago that it shipped, so hopefully it'll all be here tomorrow so that I can start cutting up shares. Okay, I like that. That is plenty of color for me right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this panel off. I could just set up going this way, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. You can't make me. And I'm going to put my die back, like so, and set up to stamp my flowers and leaves. And I will use the flowers and leaves. Where are you people? Where are you, you stamp people? Yeah, I was watching you do that online yesterday. It's good that you were able to get home to get your order in. It just froze up so bad. Okay, now there are two little flower doohickeys, right? That's the technical term, flower doohickeys. One is larger than the other one. So you do want to figure out which one goes in which die cut, just saying. Because otherwise it's gonna just look a little weird. I'm pretty sure this is the larger one. And you just want to line it up like that. And then like that, okay. I'm gonna put my magnets back. And then I'll pick those little guys up. And I did my little purple little flowers in Highland Heather. Like that. And I'm being a little bit careful about, you know, wiping my stamp set off. So the leaves are whatchamacallit? I'm sorry. Say what? Say what? I didn't understand that at all. Not at all. No, I did not. All right, putting it back one more time. And we're going to do a little leaf setup. Now, you get one large and one small leaf stamp. Okay, and you've got a couple of places to stamp, so it's going to take a reposition, but that's okay. We can do it. We can do it. Okay. Now what I did for my leaves, I did my leaves in Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. Flowers are doohickeys. I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yes, the flowers are doohickeys and the leaves are whatchamacallits. So I'm just inking that up and wiping off my plate because, you know, I'm a pigger. And then with Mossy Meadow and a sponge dauber, all I'm doing is just daubing a little bit of shadowing on there. A little bit of shadowing like that. Okay. Okay, that worked good. Now let's see. Oh, I could have done the other leaf at the same time. At the same bat time. See what I mean? Me and my ducks. Me and my ducks are not in a line. Okay, clean off these stamples and stick them in their spot. We're gonna put that one there. And we're gonna put this one here, like so, and pick everything up, including that ink pad. All right. I'm blaming it on the coffee. Yes, that is the problem. It's the coffee. turns out if you're used to Dunkin' Donuts coffee, when you segue to Starbucks Cafe Verona, ooh, it's very tasty, but it is potent. Just saying. Just saying. Quit now. Okay, here we go. All right, that worked out good. Now I'm going to take these little leaves off, and I'm going to stick them on a block so I don't lose them, because that is a distinct possibility. Those photopolymers, boy, they've just got little legs on them. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, we got one more leaf to do, because I was so together, by which I mean not at all together. Okay, here we go. This one down here, like that. And it isn't going to really be in the lines, but geez, come on, Mary. It ought to be at least a little bit in the lines. Yeah, they have legs with running shoes. That is exactly, and they can disappear. Those two little stamps, they were on here, and I pulled all of my trash and tossed it all in the garbage, and then I was like, uh-oh, I'd be missing a stamp. I don't know how that happened. I thought I had lost a bird stamp out of the Birds and Branches set, but I found it stuck in a page of my catalog the other day. I was like, what in the world? Yes, I'm very tidy. Hey, Daryl, just keep practicing with it. You will get it, I promise. It takes a minute, but you can do it. You can do it. All right, I'm gonna clean my stamps and get them off of here, because I'm gonna need my flowers and possibly my leaf a little later. That way I'll know sort of where they are, in theory. I'm gonna put them back on the stamp thingy. Isn't that crazy talk? What? Okay, so there is my card front ready to do a little more fixolating. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through and emboss it in the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. But before I do that, because I'm doing this piece as well, I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this. Remember, this was an ornate frame die cut, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday in Old Olive. And then when I pull Mr. Big Shot back, we're going to do all of them at once. Well, not at once, but all at the same time that I have Mr. Big Shot. Okay. All right. Get this off and set him aside. All right. Yes, I lose dies as well. In fact, I was going through my stuff to retire, and I pulled out a flower die that it's going to take me a month of Sundays to figure out which die set it's in. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't know where it came from. All right, so let's see. First, I'll run the card front through. Remember, when you're using the 3D dies, you want to run the folded edge through first, and you want it sandwiched. With the new die cutting machine that will come soon, I'm not real sure what the sandwich will be, but with your current one, you're going to want the regular Big Shot platform, the embossing folder with your cardstock, and the 3D embossing plate for these 3Ds. Okay? And we'll just get that one embossed, and then I'm going to emboss my sentiment as well. Do remember that embossing and then trying to stamp is a little bit problematic. I'm just saying. All right. I mean, you know. Oh my goodness. You know, Karen, I do feel that pain. I have done that. I don't know. And that's depressing to have to buy a new a new set that you already have one of when you have such a long list of stuff that's brand new, really new, right? All right, so that is kind of the hard part. So let's go ahead and do a little distressing. I'm going to use a piece of sponge and my crumb cake ink. And remember, when you sponge, when you're trying to sponge, you want to start off of your cardstock and then roll into your panel, okay? Start off and roll in. And then you just kind of do it for as long as it takes to get the color level and the distressing level that you want, okay? Like so. See why I was thinking the crumb cake cardstock would have been good, but I actually like how this very vanilla ended up. To me, it looks sort of like tea-stained parchment. You remember in elementary school? Maybe you don't, but I can remember at least one assignment where I was supposed to do something historical, and I think at one point I maybe tried to calligraphize something, and my mom and I put my piece of paper in a bath of tea to make it get stained, and then we burned the edges. We were so creative. Even at a very young age, I was so creative. Okay. All right, I like that. I think that's plenty. Get the edges just a little more. And we'll set that aside and do the same to this because that's kind of too bright. Like so. Okay, and now we're ready to put stuff together. Hey Audrey, glad you could join. Yep, Faith, you are correct. The instant the new one is on the way and can't be turned back, Karen will find the old one. Okay, so now let's take our die cut that is now a die cut and no longer required as a template. And I'm going to adhere it with remember I put the adhesive on here. Now, I have left all of these little flower middles and my leaves, and I'm just going to see what comes off, and whatever comes off is how it's going to be. What you do want to be sure of is that you've got all of the little you know, there's empty spaces where there's not flowers or leaves, and you want to get those out so that you don't, you know, I mean, if you don't get it done, it won't be like the end of the world, but I would want it out. Okay, so there's the back already coming off. See how it's pulling those chads out, and it's pulling the leaves. Okay, we'll just leave that like that. And then we're going to line it up as best we can. Like I said, it is not an exact, it isn't really totally exact, but you're going to get close. And just remind yourself that that makes it all, you know, real artsy. Real artsy. All right. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's pretty just like that, right? Okay. Like it. I like it. I like it. Now, let's go ahead and put this on our mat. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining. Yes, I don't get shaky from coffee. I get a little bit chatty. I get a little chatty. And also I get my second wind at about 9 o'clock at night, which is not really so good for me. I need to be in bed by 9 o'clock at night, not being on the treadmill. Today I got my treadmilling done, so I don't have to, it's not weighing on my head, you know what I mean? All right, so there's that. I like it. But you know what I think I want to do? I kind of want to put a little bit of foil back in. Do I? Let me see if I can just find them real easy. If I can't, then we won't do it. But I think I want to. I think I want to. Here, this is a leaf. Is it that leaf? think it must be this leaf. Where are you, leafes? Leafes? Leafes. It has to be that one. I might put that one back in. Might put that one. Ooh, maybe one of these big ones. What do you think? No, it's not. It's not doing so good. There we go. It's right there. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. No, I'm not gonna mess with it. Too much like work. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make us a double loop bow. 2.5 hours to mow your lawn. Fine tip glue would look great on those flowers. You mean like little dewdrops like that? Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to make a double loop bow with some linen thread. And if you will remember the formula, it's 4, 4, 4, and 2. So you're going to make 4 loops around 4 fingers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to make 4 loops around 2 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you've got the basics of the double loop bow, then you can do whatever you like. You can make it smaller or fuller or whatever. But what helps is if you can find your scissors when you're done. There we go. All right, so we're going to cut that. And then you push the edges of the loops together and twist into a figure 8. And then you pick up your handy tweezers and squiz it right there in the middle. Cut a small piece. And tie it in a knot, and tie it in a knot. Like so. Jeez. Okay, there we go. And then you just kind of play with it until it looks like you want it to, right? I mean, it's just linen thread. Make it do what you want it to do. And get that little hanging chad off of there. Look at that. Look at that little booger. Look at that little booger. Okay. They're sticky. They are sticky with that adhesive stuff on the back. There's another little piece hiding in there. Speaking of hiding, this morning I was harvesting more of my green beans, and I'd climbed up on a little footstool to reach the ones at the top of the tower, and as I was winding my way through the leaves, I saw a little tiny bright green frog staring back at me like, what in the world are you doing? And I said, move along, nothing to see here, little frog. You just stay right there and eat bugs, kid. Just stay right there and eat bugs. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and then my sentiment. Thanks, Catherine, I like it. I do remember when I first learned how to make that bow. In fact, I remember I was sitting at my desk, I want to say, in billeting at Dugway Proving Grounds, when somebody said, use your tweezers to hold the bow. And it was like the clouds parted and the sun came out. It was like, holy moly, what a great idea that is. Okay, so that's how my sentiment is going to go. I'm going to adhere that bow we were just talking about right there with a glue dot. Now, I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this on. When you have a big, thick something or other, remember, you're probably going to want a double-decker dimensional. So take one dimensional and remove the cover, and put another dimensional on top. And then you can just actually set it. For me, I think it's the easiest. In fact, I want that to go that way. To put the dimensional right on the card base, like that. Okay, so I'm going to make a second one. I'm going to stick him out there like that. Just do a double check that everything is where I want him to be, and it is. take these covers off, you can get them on Amazon, B. Or actually you can probably get them at Michael's in the, these are EK tools. And I'm quite certain that the very first set I ever bought was at a Michael's, like in the Tim Holtz section, because he likes to use, I guess he likes to use them, but I love them. I can no longer imagine crafting anything. Oh, I need a glue dot on top of my bow. Glue dot. Yeah, I can't hardly imagine crafting without them anymore. They're so handy. Okay. And we'll stick that down. And because I have double dimensionals, it's all a same height, like that. Okay. Now to finish off, I'm going to use a few pearls. Pearls just seem to work here. I'm going to put one on the sentiment itself, and then a few out and about here, like so. And I'm not counting the one on the sentiment, so for me, I want 5 out there. And there you go, there is our card front, like so. Now, let's go ahead and make our innards. Make our innards. When I was in with robins. I'm not sure what that question is, B. I was never stationed at Robins, I was at Dugway. I wasn't stationed there, I was there for business. Oh shoot, I see, totally unprepared. Completely unprepared. Hang on, I gotta cut a, you know, a doohickey. And by doohickey, I mean an inner liner. So, you know. Like I said, my ducks and I are in a non-cohesive line today. But we will recover quickly, because that's what we do. Okay, now, look at what I did on the inside here. I have another die cut, and what I'm gonna do is punch out its little middles here. I'm gonna use that to decorate my inside. Hey, Marty. Glad you could join. Thank you, Kathy. I think it's kind of fun. You can tell I've already cut part of this one off from my sample card. So you can actually get 2 inner liners out of one of these pretty die cuts if you play your cards right. And by play your cards right, I mean play your die cut right, obviously, because there's no cards here. Okay. And I'm actually just getting the open spaces out and leaving some of the middles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this like so, and then I'm going to trim the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of my backer off, which very nicely opened up all of my pieces. And we'll do like this. Okay. Okay. And then we're just going to fussy cut that extra. Easy peasy. I call that the Amy Kunder's fussy cut because it's just straight and it's easy. Okay, there we go. All right. And I did also cut one of the little ones. I cannot take credit for this idea. I saw this on Kylie Bertucci's video. So I've got a small one, but it was such a good idea that I copied it straight up. And I'm going to put this over here, a little bit off of the corner. And fussy cut the excess, like so. And I'm leaving the inside blank, as in no sentiment. And we're going to put this on its Mossy Meadow mat. Okay. Like so. Isn't that brass foil so pretty? I love the brass foil. I really do. Alright, give that a good rub. Now I decided to go real simple, and I used a thick, very vanilla card base to keep the color. I like this vintage look, and again, my friend who wanted the birthday cards, this will be a very good design for her request. And it works for me too. This is in my wheelhouse. All right. Now, some dimensionals on the back of my card front, and we'll be ready to go. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. I'll be able to cite the person whose card I sort of cased tomorrow in my blog. But for some reason it is escaping me right now. And if that person is watching, I apologize for not citing you on the video. Okay, there we go. And, oops, I should cover this so that we don't get, you know, goopy dried out liquid glue. The only thing worse than goopy dried out liquid glue is goopy dried out fine tip glue pen. Whew, that one is a booger to get opened up. I hadn't used it for a while and I needed it the other day, and it took me a hot second to get it cleared out. Thank goodness for hot water and that little pin in the end, and also a toothpick. Okay, let's make sure I'm putting it on straight. I believe I can put it on straight. There we go. And there is our card. Now, on my envelope, I am not, because it wouldn't be prudent, I am not going to use one of those die cut pieces. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to stamp my big flowers on the front, and I'm going to do that by hinging down a few and then setting my envelope where I want it, right there. Put a magnet on. Right now the other magnets seem to have, you know, taken a little walk, so we'll just hope that that works out good enough. And I'm going to ink it up. I'm not going to spritz it to go on the envelope, because that just, having that extra water just doesn't seem like a real good idea, you know. I just don't think that's a great idea. So I'm just going to stamp like that, and we'll add the Misty Moonlight. Another one in the corner. Oh yes, certainly there is. Good catch. Good eyeballs. And I'm just inking the middle of my flowers to get a little bit darker with the Misty Moonlight. I gotta tell you guys, I am so excited to get the new inks. I really am. And I like that. I'm gonna leave it just like that. And now I can do my stamping outside of the Stampopotamus. And I'm going to shut my Misty Moonlight, or no, this is my Seaside Spray, sorry. What I thought I would do is maybe add a couple of little flowers. Where are you? Here, I'm going to use this little flower right here. And here's a clean block. And I'm going to use Highland Heather, but I'm going to stamp it off, because this is real soft and this would not be if I didn't stamp it off. So I'm just going to stamp off like that. And we'll just add 2 there. And then I'm going to add a couple of little centers. Let's see, no, those are leaves. Those are not centers, those are leaves. Oh, here's the centers. Okay, so I've got the little flower centers, and I'm using So Saffron, stamped off once, for the large flowers. Don't forget, even though your flowers go off the edge, there's still the potential that you need your flower middles, so don't forget to do those. And then I'm just using this little tiny one in stamped off once, So Saffron, for the little Highland Heather flowers. And then, because I can, I'm going to use this leaf. Remember, your envelope is your first impression, right? So make it pretty. Make it pretty. Make it part of the whole experience. Everybody likes getting a pretty card in the mail, and it starts with the envelope. And I'm going to stamp that off once. Stamp it there like that. And repeat. Gosh, I love this set so much. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now, I'm just going to set these aside for a second. I'm going to put two little flowers on the back here. Whoa! Did you see that thing jump out of my hand? Good Lord. Again with the stamped off ones, Highland Heather. Like that. Yay, Karen, I'm excited for you. Have I heard when all the Bumblebee products will be available? Do you mean like the ribbon and whatnot? If that's what you mean. What I saw yesterday when I was ordering was almost everything seemed to have a about a 29 June ETA. So hopefully it'll be quicker than that. Hopefully. When I ordered, all the other things, the inks and whatnot, were all available. So if they have gone unavailable, then I haven't seen the updated ETAs yet. I'm sorry. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a couple of leaves, and this is going to be in the books, people, in the books, which is movie speak, I think. I don't know. Which I have no idea why I would use that, because I have zero connection to the movies, other than I live where there's movies. And I watch movies, so maybe that counts. All right. And then we'll stamp off once. And I think we're going to go off of this edge like that. And there we go. And that's going to be our flap. I like it. Just simple. Bumblebee blends. I don't think there are Bumblebee blends. Well, what's the, oh no, cinnamon side, no? One of the colors doesn't have a blends, and I don't have my catalog sitting right here, so I can't look it up. I'm sorry. No Bumblebee. Yeah, so I don't think there will be one available anytime soon. I wish there was, but there's not. Okay, so here is the second card. Here is the first card. Pretty much the same card. But I kind of like it, don't you? I hope you do. Oh, shoot. Look what I forgot, people. You're not listening and watching. You're letting me ramble and forget. This must have corners because it needs them, because they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on because I can, because it needs them. It needs them so badly. That just finishes the card. It's like you go from to what? Like that. So I'm using glue dots and setting in my little corner people like that. On my first one, I liked how it ended up. See how the leaf went over the top of the corner? I like that, but I didn't get it like that this time, I don't think. Every card is different. Oh, it did do it. It did do it. Yay. We'll just give that a little pickup with our tweezers. It's easier if you do that right when you first stick it down. You know, all of these adhesives, even the ones that seem like they should be the same when you first put them on as they are when they're dry, they all kind of set up. Like, have you noticed that? That a glue dot, you can wiggle it and squiggle it for a minute, and then like an hour later you come back and you can't move it at all. So it's like I'm not real sure why, and that doesn't even make sense when I say it out loud. I understand how silly it sounds, but it's true. It's true. If you've still got them, Karen, there you go. Thank you so much, Stamping Nook. I appreciate it. Oh, are the corners back available, Dee, or were they back ordered? Mine were back ordered. I'm hoping they come soon because I really want them. I need more because I'm going through them crazy. There. Now it's a card. See, it wasn't right. It just wasn't complete. This is like the parsley on the side of your plate, only prettier. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Sorry for the goofiness today. I'm gonna quit drinking so much coffee, I promise. Well, I'm not, because that's crazy. But hopefully I won't be quite so wired for sound. Hopefully I'll see you on Saturday evening on my Facebook page. I don't know what we're gonna do, but it'll be something. Maybe I'll get around to that press and seal on this, or maybe press and seal on the sunflowers. I don't know. We're gonna see. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and for those of you who have new goodies coming soon, have fun with that. Thanks so much, y'all. We'll see ya. Bye.